Good morning. I wish that I looked different. I was in a different setting, but I got up at 4:30. It's Alaska time, and I'm really nervous about going back into the classroom after 2.5 years of outside of public school work. And I've started reading a book, and I wanted to share this with you guys specifically, for you've been a huge part of my journey. Okay. Concerning that first day back to school, I went to class that day, grateful for another chance to teach. Teaching engages my soul as much as any work I know. But I came home that evening convinced, once again, that I will never master this baffling vocation. Annoyed with some of my students and embarrassed by my own blunders, I pondered a recurring question. Might it be possible at my age to find a new line of work, maybe even something I know how to do? The students in my first section were silent as monks. Despite my shameless pleading, I could not buy a response from them, and I soon found myself sinking into one of my oldest phobias. I must be very boring to anesthetize so quickly these young people who only moments earlier had been alive with hallway chatter. In the second section, they talked, but the talk flared into conflict as one student insisted that the concerns of another student were petty and did not deserve attention. I masked my irritation and urged open listening to diverse views. But the air was already polluted, and the dialogue died. That, of course, sank me into another ancient angst. How awkward I am at dealing with conflict when my students decide to start talking. I have taught thousands of students, attended many seminars on teaching, watched others teach, read about teaching, and reflected on my own experience. My stockpile of methods is substantial. But when I walk in, I just think about teach like a pirate, which it was really awesome, but just so many different methods. My problems are perennial, familiar to all teachers. It's when I walk into a new class, it is as if I am starting over. Still, they take me by surprise, and my response to them, though outwardly smoother with each year, feel almost as fumbling as they did when I was a novice. After 3 decades of trying to learn my craft, every class comes down to this. My students and I, face to face, engaged in an ancient and exacting exchange called education. The techniques I have mastered do not disappear, but neither do they suffice. Face to face with my students, only one resource is at my immediate command. My identity, my selfhood, my sense of this I who teaches, without which I have no sense of the thou who learns. So, good teaching cannot be reduced to technique. Good teaching comes from the identity and integrity of the teacher. The premise is simple, but as we know, the implications are not. It will take time to unfold what we do and do not mean by those words. It will take time to unfold what I do and do not mean by those words. But here is one way to put it. In every class I teach, my ability to connect with my students and to connect them with the subject depends less on my methods I use than on the degree to which I know and trust myself. I'm willing to make it available and vulnerable in the service of learning. So for me, going into this new school district, given every book, and this is how we classroom management, we use champs, and this is how we blank, and, feeling really overwhelmed, I naturally it's like a root or a tree that's thirsty. It knows its way to the water. It's like I needed something, and I found this book, which is The Courage to Teach by Parker Palmer. But I needed that reminder and immediately thought about all of the amazing teachers at Badger High School and had to share. I am rooting for you all, and thank you for helping form me and supporting my growth of selfhood, you know? And I think that that's what we're trying to do for our own kids. It's a journey that doesn't end. So we've got this. We're all in it together. And I should probably get ready. But I love you all.